So, the money. Why do you need it, Eric?
Oh my gosh. Well, a couple of things. First, thank you so much for having me today.
It was a joy.
We were incredibly excited to raise this funds for a couple of reasons. First, the business is growing even faster at scale. Ramp's customer base and the revenue we're doing has more than doubled over the past year. And we find in the times we're living in right now, the opportunity to invest in bringing AI to businesses around the world to automate expense reports, make it easier to run a business, and also invest further in this growth made it an easy choice to invest and serve more customers faster.
Okay, because there has been so much fits and starts of how much generative AI is actually leading to productivity. Many worrying about the 95% of pilots that aren't working according to MIT. So what's working for you? How are you showing that this is really building productivity or time management allocation where people can do the work they want to do, not just file expense reports?
Something that's so unique about Ramp is we measure our own success by how much less money we've helped customers spend. And what we find is that the average customer that adopts Ramp is able to reduce their spend by about 5% per year. And the median customer using Ramp is growing their revenue by about 12% per year, which is more than double the US national average. I think that uniqueness on ROI, on actually showing companies where they can cut out spend, how they can automate expenses, separates us, and I would argue makes us part of that 5% of in that study where people are finding AI is actually very, very useful.
Are they actually demanding real detail? I loved some of the notes that I got that your treasury agents moved $5.5 million of idle cash into 4% investments. Your policy agent prevented 511,000 out-of-policy transactions. Is that the granularity that people want to see?
Yes, it is. Because I think for a lot of companies, really they're looking to understand, okay, I know that time is money. If you're a company, every hour that you're paying someone, let's say to do their expense reports, is an hour that they're not selling the next customer, reporting on the news, whatever really drives value to that business, and Ramp being able to show this was attempted spend that on a different type of program would have gone through. This is time your people would have been doing these low value tasks. Instead, that's automated. The spend didn't occur in the first place. The categorization is done for you. Makes a real difference. And for a CFO, I think is really all that matters. It's about the bottom line, and that's what we deliver.
And it matters to the CEO because they want time allocated in a different way. I saw that Brett Taylor of Sierra and also the chairman of OpenAI was quoted saying, his talent are therefore better placed to be working on the agents he wants to build, not filing expense reports. But you talk about that 12% average revenue growth of your customer base. Is that because you are serving companies like Sierra, startups, rather than the Fortune 500 or the bigger kind of companies that perhaps don't have the revenue growth that startups do?
It's a great question. First, I like to believe the most disciplined and well-run companies, of course, will be adopting, we think, the most cutting-edge tools in the market, which is Ramp, that helps people just run leaner. But I think the majority of our customers, by a long shot, are actually traditional businesses, farms, nonprofits, restaurants, hospitals, traditional businesses that you would not expect in many ways to be cutting-edge adopters. For them, they're looking for easier to do expense reports. You might be used to, it's the worst hour of your month doing expenses. For them, they tap a card, it does itself. They upload an invoice. Our OCR will go and automatically categorize the transaction, set the payment date to the date it's actually due, so you're not losing $1 out in interest, and then categorizing the transaction for you. And so I think, when you look at the type of businesses, these are leaders like CBRE, Shopify, the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, businesses of all shapes and sizes, I actually think are looking, especially in these times, to get more from every dollar an hour.
Your venture backers are a who's who list, basically. Lightspeed has led this financing, but you've got Cotu, Avenir, Thrive, you've got Founders Fund, so many of them continuing to back you. But I want to go to the talent side, because there was an opportunity for your employees to tender their shares. How many did, or how many are holding on thinking 32 billion isn't the end of it?
It's people at Ramp are very, very excited about the momentum. Just to give you some context, Ramp is now larger than the median publicly traded SaaS company, and our gross profit, which is a great measure of our profitability, is growing 10 times as fast. And so no doubt, I think people are very, very excited. There's a lot more to deliver. The process is ongoing, but for us, whether an employee chooses to sell or not to sell, it's very valuable, especially in building a public company, to know that you have the option, that you can say yes or no to selling some shares. And we think that's a great thing.